There is a substantial risk of loss associated with trading forex, binary options, stocks, or equities, collectively, asset classes. Only risk capital should be used for trading. Trading in any asset classes is not appropriate for everyone. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. No representation is being made that investors will make profits, or will not sustain losses. Before trading in any asset classes, investors should consult with their professional broker, financial advisor, or financial consultant to determine whether trading asset classes is appropriate. Investors who trade in any asset classes should only do so if the capital used for this purpose represents funds that an investor can afford to lose without adversely impacting the investor's lifestyle. No trading strategy or methodology is without risk of loss. No trading strategy is risk-free, and no trading strategy can guarantee profits or freedom from losses. Investors risk losing the cost to execute any transaction, including associated commissions or fees. You should carefully consider whether trading in any asset class is appropriate for you in light of your investment experience and financial resources. Any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. None of the statements or materials in the Auvoria Prime chat rooms constitute a solicitation or recommendation to buy or sell.
Let's go ahead and let's talk about the markets. Let's talk about different pairs, what's profitable, what are the best performers. And, as you can see, we always like to talk about the one pair data. These are accounts that have been running since GearBox's inception last year in the retail market of October. Some of these accounts have been running since August of 2021 or 2020 actually. Yep, 2020. So I've been running these accounts since 2020 here, as you can see. So we're going into 2022 and halfway through the month of January already. But the point is to show you this data, make sure you understand, that it's important to scan all the pairs. If you're using the precision strategies, you don't just want to choose the best performing pairs. You want to run them all, because if you're not running them all, chances are you're going to have weeks go by where you don't get trades. And I want to give you a great example of that. Even though GBP AUD is one of the better performing pairs, when we take a look at this account, okay, this account was taking trades all through 2020, and then all of a sudden, 2021, we get to March, right? We got to this period in March 30th, and all of a sudden, we didn't make another profit on that account from March until September, right? And then all of a sudden, the account grew 40%. So what does this tell you? It tells you that all of a sudden GBP AUD went through a period where it wasn't having big trending moves. It was more so ranging and consolidating for many months. And we took some losses and made them all back. Now, to show you this is why you scan multiple pairs. Because if you were only trading the best performing pairs and you went through a period like this where they just didn't take any trades, you'd be bored out of your mind. You'd be like, this software doesn't work. But by scanning multiple pairs during the times where GBP AUD was not taking a trade or took a loss and just waiting in drawdown, you could have been exiting profit on other pairs. But you can see that this software has won 85% of trades on GBP AUD with a profit factor of over 9.3. Absolutely incredible, and over 3,313 positive caught pips. So again, I show you this data so that you guys can understand again, why it's very important to scan all the pairs. Another example may even be USD CAD. Yes, it's a great performing pair, but let's take a look here. Same concept happened. We got into April here, took a loss in May, and we didn't make money back until June. And then it was kind of quiet July, right? And, things get quieter. So you go through your periods where things just have times they're not taking trades, or they might be taking trades. Now, you really want to be very specific with how you are trading and making sure that you are scanning all the pairs that you should be, so that you can get the most trade opportunities. Oftentimes when I look at people's account and they say, I'm not getting trades, or, I'm not making any money, what has the problem typically been? The problem's been they're scanning 8 pairs, 6 pairs, 3 pairs. They're trying to only run the best performing pairs. Scan them all, right? That's what GearBox was designed for. It was designed to scan all the majors and the minors for the best reversal opportunities. And when I say reversal, I mean precision mode focuses on reversals. And if you don't know what I mean by reversal, I do want to go ahead here and let's talk about it real quick. So let's just look at a very volatile pair. We'll go to GBP NZD. We'll go ahead and launch the chart. All right, and right here you can see GBP NZD made a big move up to this upside, right? Now we're looking at this on the daily time frame. Again, GearBox runs on the daily time frame. So let's say you were in this move, and GBP NZD typically for swing, we're going to look around 600 pips to take our first entry or trade. So in this case, right up here, we probably would have started to look to enter a sell. But what happened? This thing did pump the full typical 1,000 pips that it tends to go with no retracement. Now, in this case, had you caught it right there, you had caught your sell right around here. Okay, we went up and we dropped. Now, if this was enough for you to TP, it might not have been. You might have been stuck in this trend, in which case it ran 500 pips. Could you have possibly hit a stop loss up here? Possibly so. But this thing just ran 1,000 pips without a very solid retracement. So what does that mean? That means that right now, typically GearBox would be looking for a reversal. And this would be what we're looking for. We're looking to catch reversals in the market when things have been overextended. And right now, GBP NZD is a great example of something that looks pretty overextended. It has gone on almost 1,000, pip move here. And it's looking to come down soon. So again, we love to show you that stuff. If we go back in history, there's plenty of other great examples. Moved up to the upside, came right back down. Big wick here, came down. But we're always looking for reversals. We're looking for those reversal patterns. This would have been another one, right? If we take a look here, 8-3, let's just call it. So we're going to run up to 9-2 here, right? And again, continuing to move. So we're just looking for reversal patterns, as I said. So you want to be focused on finding those reversal patterns in the market, and you don't really have to find them. GearBox is looking for them. But again, this is what we specialize in precision strategies. Now, if you're using intraday strategies, today's call is not for you. Those are Thursday's calls. Those are more advanced. Those are for advanced users. If you are not an advanced user, you have never traded before, you've never used an expert advisor before, you are not very familiar with expert advisors or trading software in general, I would stick away from intraday modes and focus on precision. It is the most hands-off strategy that I believe a brand new person who's never traded in their life can see success with little downside potential, as I'd like to say. But again, this is what we're looking for in the markets, and these setups don't always happen. If we scan through, this was 1,000 pip move without a really adequate retracement. Okay, if we go back in time, that very rarely happens. But when it does happen, again, it comes back. So here was 1,000 pip move almost to the downside, right? We can see this right here. We ran right down to the downside. And what did you know? We came back up. So if you were entering a buy somewhere around here, guess what? You would have TP'd. And then would have came back down, and guess what? Would have gone back up. Just like anything, we're looking to play the cycles. All these pairs have a way that they move, as you can see as it prints it on the screen here. They have a specific way in which they move, and we're just looking to capture those movements. So I'm going to come look at the chat box here, see if there's any questions. Euro JPY closed out this morning with a profit of 93 after being some drawdown. That's awesome, Gabrielle. Happy to see that flip after the holidays. Absolutely. Jog says very low resolution. Cannot see anything, basically. That's interesting. Okay. We're getting... calls also fuzzy, same. Okay, we're going to look into why we're seeing some fuzziness. I'm not sure why that would be. We'll have to take a look at that. I've just looked up a new account, and there's no smiley faces. Okay, Lenora, this is a very simple fix. Let me open a VPS. Give me a second here. I'm going to open up a VPS. Give me just 1 minute to switch off, and I'm going to show you how to solve that, Lenora. It's a very simple problem. A lot of people face it. You're just missing one checkbox. So let me go ahead and show you how to address that. I might actually have, let's do GB debug, reconnect here. Okay, now that we are in here, you're going to go over to your Gearbox Manager, Lenore. You're going to click the smiley face on Gearbox Manager, and you're going to go to the Common tab, right? I'm going to make this bigger since I know some of you say it's fuzzy. And you're going to want to make sure all these boxes are checked, right? So I guess I can't make it bigger. You're going to make sure all these are checked, and once these are all checked, go ahead and reapply your strategy and the smiley faces will stick. You're just simply missing the common boxes. If you don't allow live trading and allow DLL imports, the smiley faces will fall off all the charts and Gearbox won't stick. So just got to go ahead and do that, and that'll solve your problem, Lenore. As for the fuzziness, yeah, we're gonna look into why that is happening. Let's go ahead and continue on though with the call here. If you guys have any questions too, like Lenora, never be afraid to ask the questions, so that we can continue to work through helping you have the best experience with the Gearbox product line and how to use it. Now, with that being said, last week I did talk about some 2022 plans for Gearbox. If you give me a minute here, I will go ahead and pull up some of those 2022 plans so that you guys can actually see what they are. I'm just going to go ahead and stop sharing for a minute. You might see a black screen. Don't worry. Okay, give me 1 second here, and we are going to pull up 2022 Gearbox plans. All right, we are back. So, a few things to talk about on the 2022 plans. All right, we're going to be making some manager enhancements based on real-time data. We want to increase profit and trade. I don't know why I said immensely. Trade. We want to increase profit and trades that happen. We want to do a manager redesign, and something somebody had requested in the last call is that the strategy name is on the buttons instead of use strategy. So when you look at the Gearbox Manager, if I go back here and pull it up, let's close and ignore that. You can see that the strategy names are here, and that says use strategy. Some people are requesting that we actually put the name of the strategy on the buttons. People get confused, I guess. They don't know which strategy to choose, even though the names are right here. So that's one request and something in our 2022 plans. Next thing is we want to work to create a real-time correlation filter. What this means is currently the correlation data is updated, manually. It's not a real-time thing that is constantly looking at the market, and because correlation data, for those of you who are new or maybe don't know what correlation data means, I'm going to go ahead and actually get into it here. If we go over here to correlation, we're going to look at anything with a negative correlation and a positive correlation on the daily time frame. So what correlation means is, in this case right now, Euro JPY is 88.9% correlated with AUD JPY. This means if AUD JPY is in a downward spiral, chances are Euro JPY is in a downward spiral too. Now, correlation data constantly changes. If we go back to July, when we look at the correlation data, you can see that if you go back to July, all right, these were not correlated over 85%, which means we wouldn't have even worried about them. But as time's gone on, you can see that this correlation grew at one point to where it was already upwards of 96.9%. And it's continued to range up there for the past few months. But the point in showing you this data is things change. There was a period here in October that these were not in our correlation filter, meaning that, if this was real time, it would reflect these changes in real time. Instead, this data is updated on a weekly basis currently. So we do want to make this real time so that it is accurate as possible. Another example is negative correlation. So we see Euro NZD is negative 97.4% with NZD CHF. So when we take a look at that data, what that means, again, is that if Euro NZD, for example, is in a buy and trending buy, That means NZD-CHF is probably in a trending sell. They do the opposite of each other when correlation is negative. And you can see that, again, there's been times where these things would not have been in our 85% range. They would not have been technically blocked by our correlation filter in GearBox, but there's other times where they are. Like right now, they would be blocked in our correlation filter from trading at the same time in the same direction, or opposite directions in this case, as it doubles your risk. So that's correlation. So let's continue to go down the document on some next things to continue to work on. We want to work on a large account multiplier. We've talked about this for a while. And what does this mean? It means for those people with a 100K account, instead of starting at one lot size as your starting lot, having a lower lot size but a different multiplier that multiplies the next levels differently than our traditional range multiplier and position size multiplier already installed. This would probably be rolled out in GearBox Pro. We have GearBox, and then GearBox Pro would also end up on VPSs for larger accounts. This is something we are working on for larger accounts, is a Pro version that is made for larger capital, 100K and above. You can currently use 100,000 on GearBox, just we want to do the math a little differently and split up the risk, because the more money you have in there, we want to create less drawdown with similar profit potential. So that's where the larger account multiplier is going to come in, and we've been doing some data testing to come up with some different ideas. We do want to work to create trailing stop losses above levels 0 and 1. This is a big one. If you're using precision modes, you've probably never seen a trailing stop loss. So if you're asking, you might be asking, well, what is a trailing stop loss? So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you entered a buy on GBP NZD. Let's say it dropped down here, and you took a buy right here. Okay, well, we're in big profit right here. But let's say your stop loss is down here, and all of a sudden the market just tanked. Well, you don't want to lose a trade that you were just in a ton of profit on. So what a trailing stop loss would do is it would be moving up your stop loss to like right here. So, okay, let's say this trade doesn't continue on, but pulls back. Okay, no problem. You closed out in profit, and there was no issue. So this would also make GearBox very invincible to when it is in floating profit and then a trade reverses on it. Now, I've seen this happen many times. I've had times where I was in 4% floating profit on a trade, just like this. Right here, I'm in 4% floating profit, and I'm maybe this far away from my TP, right? TP is like right here. We're right here, and market just reverses. And all of a sudden, I'm stuck in that trade for 3 months in drawdown when I could have taken 4% profit off the table. So we really do want to add trailing stop losses, as it will immensely make a huge difference in securing your profit and getting out of trade sooner. We want to have a max level closeout. So what does max level closeout mean? This is going to be a brand new feature, and this is for more advanced users. It'll probably be a part of the GearBox Pro suite as well. But a max level closeout is essentially, let's say you entered a sell right here, and it just kept trending against you. And let's say you entered a sell on level 5 or gear 5, and you said, if we get to gear 8, just close all the trades. Don't continue to go and draw down. So instead of a risk protector on the entire account, it's a kind of like a risk protector per pair, per currency pair. So you'd be able to say close all trades if it gets to level 8. So it would go, okay, level 5, level 6, level 7, and then boom, level 8 goes to trigger. Nope, just close them all. Don't even continue going. And that would be the max level closeout feature. Again, a more advanced feature for more advanced users that know what they're doing, but something we have had a request for. So we'll have a max level closeout for risk management. Swap calculation to help people adjust or understand, look for education or solutions. So what this means is we want to be able to incorporate somehow swap calculations into either the software or the indicators. If you don't know what I mean by the indicators, we do have predicted TP and stop loss indicator that is installed on your VPSs. I'll give you guys a visual here. Let me open a chart. We'll go to AUD-NZD, and right now it's not going to show us anything because I have no open trades, but the predicted stop loss and take profit indicator would actually show you your profit and loss and give you lines. Right now, you're not going to be able to see anything because I don't have any open trades on this example, but you do have a predicted TP and stop loss, which you can move around the lines and it'll show you. As well, you also have GearBox levels. This is another indicator which you can adjust where your entry level would have been. They're more advanced indicators. I'll upload videos on how to use them. Many of our advanced users do use them when making custom modifications to their software. But we do want to make more advancements to these indicators as well to further advance them, such as including swap calculations and other things into them. All right, we'll keep working through. We are going to begin doing more testing on pairs outside of the FX majors and minors. We want to find settings that work on indices and metals. Perfection is key, so we're not going to release anything to you until we have a lot of data on it, forward and back testing data, to really back what we're looking to do. But we do want to find things that work on indices and metals, which many of these more advanced features will also help us do that, right? These things right here are really going to help us break into this section right here of perfecting some of these other things that we haven't touched yet. And then on top of that, we want to have ongoing updates for stability, speed, improvement, and also edge cases or possible bug scenarios. There is a bug that we are investigating. Apparently, if you get issued a new VPS with ongoing trades, your TP calculates to break even instead of profit. So we are working on that. We have some examples that we are investigating. And this is our 2022 plan so far. Of course, this is just the beginning. This is more like Q1 2022 plans, maybe even Q2 latest. But, you know, there's going to be many, many more things added to GearBox. We're always looking to optimize it. And we've had over a year now running it. Since October of last year, retail clients, and I've been running it for over a year and a half myself and using the base algorithm for 3 years. But the point is we're going to continue to optimize, advance, further test, and the goal is always increase profit potential without increasing risk. So we're continuing to figure out ways to decrease risk and increase profit, and that is the name of the game for GearBox in 2022. With that being said, let me come back to the chat box and see what else we have going on. How is double TP and real plus ghost TP calculated? Awesome, Peter. Double take profit is essentially going to be 60 pips from its first initial entry, and then after that, it's going to calculate based around the math of that. Now, real plus ghost, how that is calculated is very easy to explain. The easiest way to explain it is that it is going to give you the take profit based on if the ghost trades were also in the market. So when I say the ghost trades were also in the market, I mean, let's say you enter on level 5 on GBP/NZD, for example. Okay, it's going to calculate where it needs the take profit to be as if it was in drawdown on level 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's going to put the take profit as if it was also in those trades. Even though it's not in those trades on your account, those are in the Ghost server, it's going to calculate the take profit as if it needs to factor in losses on all those trades. Whereas double TP doesn't take into account any Ghost trades. It just does 60 pips from the first initial trade taken and then adjust from there. Kaluma, excellent GearBox week, plus 7% on 0.01 per 1,500, only running 5 pairs. Amazing. And see, this is another example of someone who's only running 5 pairs. Now, Kaluma, are you on precision strategies? Are you using intraday strategies? As I see, you're only running 5 pairs. What are you using on GearBox currently? Which one takes you out of the trade quicker? Peter, this is actually kind of a reverse question. And the reason I'm going to tell you that is it depends on how hard something trends. On a first initial entry, double TP is going to take you out the quickest most times. Now, if something trends against you very hard, sometimes Ghost plus Real will end up with a lower calculation than double TP. Okay? Gabrielle, amazing question. GearBox has opened up a buy on a pair where I had sell trades open. Is this normal? Good hedging? They can close out separately without affecting the sell trades, or should I have settings to prevent this? Nope, that is perfectly normal. And I'll give you another example on TradingView. So, it wants me to sign in. We're not going to do that right now. We're going to refresh instead. All right, so we're going to come back to the chart here, and I'm going to give you an example of how that happens, Gabrielle, so you can understand. So we're taking a look at this chart on GBP/NZD, and let's say, 600 pips goes by, and somewhere around here you start to try and enter a sell, and all of a sudden, let's say this actually started to drop. I actually want to find a better example. Let me get a better visual. Here we go. This will help me with the visual. Okay, so market's going up, and all of a sudden you enter a sell. The sell starts going in your favor, and before it hits take profit, market's right here. All of a sudden you enter a buy, and you're like, well, my take profit on my sell's down here. Why am I entering a buy? Well, what will happen is it smacks your take profit, market reverses, smacks your take profit again. You just played the same move twice and made money both ways. You played the sell, you entered the buy, preparing for the reversal back up. You exited the sell, now the buy exited. You made money both ways, if that visual makes sense. Hi, Tyler. I'm new to AP. I've been cautioned on GBP pairs. Not sure why. Also, you recommend trading all pairs, not just the green ones pairs on the chart. Michael, if you are using precision strategies, meaning that on the GearBox Manager, all right, I'm going to go back to the manager here. On the GearBox Manager, you are using swing, sniper, or super sniper modes, yes, you should have all the pairs open that you want to scan besides maybe the worst performing pairs. Open them all. All right, you're going to open every single one of them. Now, if you are using intraday modes, which you said you're new, if you are new, I would not use intraday modes. I would avoid intraday modes. These are for advanced users who are very hands-on. They understand Forex, they understand EAs, they understand trading, they know what they're doing, they have a lot of familiarity with how the market and softwares work. That's what these modes are for. For a brand new person, always stick to these modes. They are going to be the most hands-off with the lowest risk and the best profit potential for someone who really has no idea what they're doing. That's what I designed them for. I designed these strategies so that somebody who has never traded in their life can come in and crush it. And I'm going to show you a customer's account in a minute of somebody who is exactly like that. He came in, he signed up for GearBox a year ago, and he has been having success with it since. And he's just been using the sniper mode, right? He's stuck to sniper. He's had a lot of success, and he has no idea trading, right? Now he does because he's been using the product for so long, but when he came in here, he didn't know how to trade. He knew nothing about trading. He just got on GearBox, started using sniper mode, and started sticking in the chats and learning with the group. Now, I do want to show you that my FX book. Lenora, I did answer that. I'm not sure where you were, but I'll go back to it real quick. Lenora, you need to go into the GearBox Manager, double-click the smiley face, go to the Common tab, and make sure all these boxes are checked. Allow DLL imports, allow import of external exports, allow modification of signal settings, allow live trading, and enable imports and long and short. If all of these are how they are on my screen, you're going to hit OK, and then you are going to go hit your strategy again, and now the smiley faces will be there. The reason you have no smiley faces is you did not allow DLL imports. And by having this box unchecked, the smiley faces will fall off of every chart. So please go ahead and make sure that you did that. Just using swing. Awesome, Michael. Then definitely make sure that you are using many pairs, including the GBP pairs. All right. I'm not seeing anything else too much here. Jock, you said, what about the 10K swing count you had is not updated for a long time? Jock, I am actually switching over for the new year. Many of my accounts to, some of them to another brokerage as well. I'm diversifying my risk. Those ones were all on LCMFX. I'm still using LCMFX, but I'm also using NVFX. So I will be switching around some funds and making some new FX books for the brand new year as well, as I have made optimizations to GearBox and I want to have it. I have not had a positive percent over this last year using swing. I don't know how that is possible unless you aren't set up properly, because I have thousands of customers that have results, including myself, just following the directions. And I'm sure plenty of people on this call can tell you the same thing, Joe A. Bell. So I would review your setup process and get with your upline and make sure that you have every pair open, everything how it should be, because not making a percent and using a product for a year doesn't make any sense. And I would have reviewed that a long time ago if I was you, because here's a customer that has done everything shown in the videos, and he's up over 202% just using Sniper. He has gotten a little over 7.76% a month. He's gotten a 30% drawdown and done a little over 200%. And you can see he has results in 2020 when we launched the product, November, December. In 2021, he had one losing month, and off to the races in 2022, already up 4% on the month. So if you aren't seeing profit with GearBox, there is something severely wrong with your setup, and you didn't do something right. That's unfortunately my best advice for you, is I would review your setup, because everyone who's set up properly is making profit. If your team has had the same experience, it sounds like your team has also not set up properly. So again, I don't know what you guys are doing, what you're using. Yeah, if you are down over the year, then you're not doing something right. I'd really go back and watch the setup videos in AP Academy. If you had an upline set you up, or somebody set up your settings and did some custom stuff, again, that's not the recommendation from the developer. Stick to what the developer is doing and you'll make money. That's my best advice for you. If your upline set you up, don't want to throw your upline under the bus, but everyone who's following the developer strategies is winning. So I would just go to AP Academy. I wouldn't even go to your upline. I would literally go reset up your software following the setup videos in AP Academy. Nothing against your upline, don't know who they are. Just if you've been in for a year and you're not making money, stick to doing things yourself and go watch the videos in AP Academy and set it up with the proper settings that the developers are using as well. And you will have success. That is my best piece of advice for you. Uplines can be great, but they can also not be great. Depends on the day and what they're doing. I've seen a lot of uplines in the past put crazy settings on customers' accounts and they lose money. Again, like I said, I don't know who your upline is. I've seen it. I've been doing this for 3 years, and people always think they know the software better than the developer. They go plug in their own custom settings, and now their team loses money, and they're all like, the product doesn't work. And it's like, no, you weren't running the settings. So if your upline quit, who do I go to? Lenora, I'm going to be honest with you. Uplines quit. You don't need an upline. Go to AP Academy. Watch the videos. That's all you need. You got me, and you got the videos. An upline is not the developer of the software. Your upline is not an expert trader half the time. They are also somebody just like you using the product. And sometimes they come up with their own ideas and their own things and custom ideas and strategies. If you are brand new and you want to see success and see the same results the developers are seeing and many customers are seeing that follow the developers, stick to the developer strategies. Yeah, you say he follows me like the Bible. I don't know how you're down. So again, I'm going to actually take a look at your account myself when I get off this call, because I don't know how someone's down money on a year. Can you explain more on the correlation of pairs, please? Absolutely, I can explain. Kaluma, with Tyler on this one, using swing for almost a year, moderate settings, very nice % profit. Follow Tyler only for advice. Again, I can't give you any advice or recommendations. The only thing I can do is show you what I'm doing. And if you like my results and you think that I know what I'm doing, then listen to me. And you should see very similar results. Correlation of pairs. Yes, we can talk about that. And I understand what you're saying, Kaluma. No worries. I got to be very literal because of regulators when the term advice or recommendations are thrown around. I make no recommendations. I give no advice. I just show you what I'm doing. If you like what I'm doing, do it too. Let's talk more about correlation again. Okay, so what do you want to know about correlation? I know you said to talk about it more. Maybe ask me a very specific question about it so I know what you're looking to see on the correlation here, and we can talk about it. But the first thing I will say about correlation is, again, it's ever changing. Let's do another example here. Euro GBP and GBP JPY you see is negative 85% correlated. What does this mean? This means that if Euro GBP is in a buy, GBP JPY is oftentimes going to be in a sell. All right. This is also showing you top negative and top positive correlations on GBP JPY. So looking at GBP JPY, you can see it's positive 90% with GBP USD. This means if GBP JPY is in a buy, GBP USD is also going to be in a buy. Same with Euro JPY. Same with GBP Singapore dollar. We don't trade that one, but it's in the correlation. So understanding correlation is big. Now, we only look at things over 85%. So USD JPY is kind of close to that, but it's not. So let's actually take a look at that one, though. You can see that it has gone above 85% and been in our trigger in November. But going into December, GBP JPY and USD JPY were not correlated. So correlation changes. This is what people choose to not understand. Correlation is constantly changing. And this is why we want to create a real-time correlation filter. Because, you know, 1 week correlation could change and something could become not correlated, right? So it's oftentimes not going to happen exactly like that, but let's just use this example. November 9th, we are correlated and the correlation filter would stop us. By November 14th, a few days later, we are under the correlation filter specifications. 2 weeks later, we're under them. And then we're under those specifications all the way here again until literally, what do you know? We just spiked 2 days ago back into where the correlation filter would have turned off. And then guess what? We turned off again a day later. So the point is correlation constantly is changing. So we really want to have a real-time filter, not something that has to be updated weekly. This way, if the market changes in a 3-day period in the middle of the week, it's not affecting you from getting into a trade. Let me go back and look at the chats here. Some people say turn that setting off. Yes. Because they say it limits their trades, which it does limit your trades. The only thing I can tell you, no Ash or no Amish. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. I have GearBox scanning recommended pairs with swing mode, so I'm wondering what do I put in the correlation filter. You don't have to put anything in the correlation filter. It's on by default. So if you'll see a setting in the inputs that is called forbid opening of trades on correlating pairs. By default, it is set to yes. And if you want to turn it off, you can turn it to no. But by default, it is on yes. So you don't need to do anything to change it or make it work. It is on by default. Now, again, some people do turn it off, right? Now, I'm going to tell you why I like it. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to have to find an account to give you an example on maybe one of my riskier accounts. Yeah, I'll use one of these older, riskier accounts. I turned this one off a while ago, back in August. This one hasn't even been running since August. Still got money in it, but this account, you can see, got into a 56% drawdown. Now, this was because I was running riskier settings, and I also had a higher lot size than I should have. But outside of that, all the pairs in the drawdown I got in was correlated. So when you get into correlating drawdown, it's not good because you're essentially in 3 pairs, or in this case, it was running 6 pairs that were very correlated. When I say very correlated, I mean they were in drawdown for a longer period of time, and they were all correlated trades. You had Euro CAD, you had NZD CAD, we had USD CAD, CAD CHF, NZD CHF. We had all these trades deployed at once, and they were all very correlated, and they were all going against me in the wrong direction. But with a correlation filter, we wouldn't have taken all those same pairs. We would have probably gone into half of the drawdown, even with the same higher lot size and higher risk settings, because of the correlation filter. So if you're going to be a riskier trader, I recommend the correlation filter. If you're running conservative settings and you're okay with a little drawdown and a little risk, turning off the correlation filter is not going to hurt. It'll probably increase your profit. But again, if you want to go a little riskier, you have a higher risk tolerance, you want to increase your lot size or your max pairs trading, I would typically keep the correlation filter on, just because nobody ever wants to see a high drawdown. I never wanted to see that kind of drawdown. Yeah, I got out of it. Again, I was being overly risky, but the point in that account and showing you this is it was completely avoidable with a correlation filter. So that's why we developed it. What pairs did the wipeout? I don't know what you mean by the wipeout, Jock. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, which pairs, Joe? Yeah, Joe. What pairs are what took out your profits? And yes, Joe, if you DM me your username, I will take a look at your account. Just DM me on Telegram if you can. I would like to look at your account and see why you're saying, you took a loss at some point and you're down on a year, because that just doesn't make any sense to me. So I would like to look at your account and review and see what's going on, because if you have other people being set up by the same person and they took the same trades, then, I got to take a look at that. I'm always going to investigate. And I did not suggest turning off this trading holiday. That is true. I did not suggest it. And in fact, many people, I didn't recommend turning GearBox off for the holidays. I don't know where that suggestion came from. Because we ran through the holidays and people made people were crushing it the first half of December. First 2 weeks of December, I saw some insane GearBox results from customers. I mean, even if we go look at this customer account here, by the way, let me look at my computer, make sure we're not about to die. What happened to the customer account we were looking at? There we go. So if we take a look at this actual customer account, let's look at December. So they ran November 30th. And wow, look at this. So if you had turned off for December, this customer is only up 172% on their account compounding. But look what happened in December. So yeah, no, I didn't turn off for the holidays at all. GearBox crushed it during the holidays. It was actually one of the best performing EAs during the holidays in our marketplace. They made 6.9% in December on this account. It crushed it during the month of December. And then January they're already up 4 or so. Technically, if you had been off all December into the middle of January, like some people do, some traders do suggest not running during the holidays, manual traders and many EAs. I did not suggest that, and because of that, this customer is up over 10%. So, again, it's all personal perspective, your risk management strategies. You could have turned off for the holidays, but no, I did not suggest it. In fact, I've ran through the holidays with GearBox last year and this year, and I will do the same thing again next year. So, all right. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and also take a look at Forex Factory. Let's take a look at the week ahead. Thank you guys all so much for being here today. You guys have asked a lot of great questions. This has been a great call. I hope that anyone catches the recording, because there's been a lot of amazing information shared here. Let's take a look at the week ahead here. And we are going to go ahead and take a look. All right. Going into Monday, we have a red folder JPY news event. It is tentative. There's not a time on it, as you can see. Tuesday looks very clear. Wednesday, we have a GBP red folder, CPI. We have a Canadian red folder as well, and another GBP red folder, as well as 2 Australian dollar red folders. Thursday, we got nothing. Friday, we have nothing. So we have a few red folders scattered throughout the week on a few different currency pairs. Now, red folder news for some EAs, people run from, because oftentimes those are scalpers. For us, we're swing traders. We like red folder news. Red folder news typically brings us our entries with GearBox and gets us into the trades we're looking to get into. Whereas red folder news for most people with different EAs tends to bring them into drawdown. For us, it tends to be where we make our entries. So we love red folder news here. And with that being said, I'm looking forward to another amazing week ahead. I'm going to check... you still can't get GearBox to run on all pairs. Lenora, if you are still not having your smiley faces click, the only other reason GearBox will not run on all the pairs is if you have a live account with no money in it. So if your balance is 0, GearBox isn't going to stick to your charts until you put money in the account. That's the only other reason GearBox doesn't stick to charts. If you've selected all the common boxes and reapplied the strategy and it's not sticking on your charts, if there's $0 in the account. So if you haven't funded your live account yet and you're trying to set it up on an account with a 0 balance, you'll also run into that problem. Your CAD was a 4-trade loss over 1,000 on a 5,000 account. Wow, that is crazy. Now, if we actually go back, let me stop sharing for a minute here. I'm going to pull up something. Give me a second here. All right. So again, going back to the GearBox Manager's entries chart.
There is a substantial risk of loss associated with trading Forex, binary options, stocks, or equities, collectively, asset classes. Only risk capital should be used for trading. Trading in any asset classes is not appropriate for everyone. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. No representation is being made that investors will make profits or will not sustain losses. Before trading in any asset classes, investors should consult with their professional broker, financial advisor, or financial consultant to determine whether trading asset classes is appropriate. Investors who trade in any asset classes should only do so if the capital used for this purpose represents funds that an investor can afford to lose without adversely impacting the investor's lifestyle. No trading strategy or methodology is without risk of loss. No trading strategy is risk-free, and no trading strategy can guarantee profits or freedom from losses. Investors risk losing the cost to execute any transaction, including associated commissions or fees. You should carefully consider whether trading in any asset class is appropriate for you in light of your investment experience and financial resources. Any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. None of the statements or materials in the Auvoria Prime chat rooms constitute a solicitation or recommendation to buy or sell.